Always enjoy catching up with my hero, Jack Hewitt, one of the greatest to ever live in the state of Ohio. Man, you sit in front of the Chili Bowl now and get to talk to all these fans. You ever hear some great stories about this place back in the day?
Absolutely, and that's what it's all about. People think that I'm here for them. They don't realize they're here for me, because they'll bring up stories that I've actually forgotten about, and that's just what's the thrill of the place is, it's the people. Like I said, to me, you come here to meet people, and a race breaks out.
That's right. You're selling some T-shirts. Your book, my favorite book, Hewitt's Law, is up here. You wrote that thing with Dave Arverbright, right? You guys worked together, and you just spilled it all out, and he wrote it on paper.
I told the stories, and he wrote it down, and he could have tried to make me look a little better, but he didn't. But it all worked out good, I never candy coated anything ever before, so why should we have in the book?
You used to race a two-seater around here and give people rides. You were just telling me that Kevin Holson, when you were hurt, drove it and had some experiences in this building. We miss Kevin Holson. He's not here this year, but we miss that guy.
Oh, he was an entertainer, and it was so funny. He bent the axle. He's the only one, other than my boy, when he flipped out at Terre Haute. Kevin's the only other one that tore anything up on the car. But he went and bent the front axle going into 3. But he was whining before we took off. He said, "Well, can I take a couple springs off the throttle?" I said, "No, we'll just get somebody else to drive it." So, it ended up great. Jimmy Oskey got to drive it, and he bicycled it down in 1 and 2. And he had, I forget the boy's name, he was a quadriplegic. And when he got out, the kid was all smiles. I guess he ran midgets and all. And it was just, we've had so much fun here. It's just been unbelievable.
Emmett Hahn, started this race, 37 years ago, and it's grown into a monster, right? With so many race cars here now. You were here as some of the first. What's some of the biggest differences in what you see now compared to what the first some of these races were?
Well, for one thing, there's three times the cars that there was when I was here. I think there was 125 back then, and like I said, the midgets have changed, and the kids, there's more younger kids. And if you notice, go back then and check the stats. There wasn't as many flips back in the day as there is today.
Yeah. You finished your best second, right? What year was that?
1989. Sammy won his first one, and we were second. And Emmett, there were 2 VWs here, and they were past their time. And he said we shouldn't even have been in the feature, let alone run second.
That's one thing that is interesting about this race is you see a lot of unique race cars like Bondio is still building these, different looking race cars that still are competitive.
And that's what it is. It's about innovation. There's not a lot of rules, so you can get by with a lot of different things. But the other night we had the bad deal with Ashton, and he turned around, and that's just because they're young kids. They don't know the safety part, and that's where I'm not big into the kids racing. I understand why, because the more you race, the better you are. But when you don't know the whole game, then you don't need to be out there yet. And I ain't saying that. Well, his seatbelts weren't fastened. They were fastened, but they weren't locked in. But now, but like I said, for him right now, he's going to be a great race car driver or a great preacher, one or the other. So that's going to be good.
Yeah, that was such a miracle to see that the other night. This building is, synonymous with having great race car drivers come here and win. And what have you seen in some of the talent that you've seen in this building this week? I mean, it's been pretty straightforward as far as lock-ins and guys like that, but, we're missing guys like Larson and Bell, but there's still guys that are rising to the top.
No, we're not. Not missing a bit, To me, you got to pick your battles. Now, if Kyle would have said, "Hey, I want to go run late models," go run late models. Don't badmouth the Chili Bowl. If he boycotted because of money, there's 325 midgets here. The crowd is already sold out. The grandstands are sold out on the thing. Who gives a shit if he's here or not, And I'm a Kyle Larson fan. I like Kyle. But him and Christopher Bell don't know how to pick their battles, You pick something that's going to make a difference. In fact, him and Han don't give a shit what Kyle Larson thinks. And neither they won't be missed after Saturday night. Nobody will be talking about him. They'll be talking who won the Chili Bowl.
I think I ask you this question. We'll end with this every single time. But how much do you miss sitting behind the wheel of a race car?
How what?
How much do you miss sitting behind the wheel of a race car?
Well, I tell everybody, you hate to say it this way, but that's the only way I know how to explain it, because the only thing all those older people have is sex that we all can relate to, whether you're a fireman or a policeman, a housewife, whatever. But anyway, I tell them it's like watching porn. It's only good for about 5 minutes, then you want to participate. Well, that's what's racing, God. You just want to be there and be part of it, because to get the actual feeling, you got to be in the race car.
Well, I'm glad you come to the racetrack still and say hi to the fans and talk to everybody and enjoy the racing. You're just a true race fan, right? I mean, we're all race fans at heart.
I loved everybody. For me, I was blessed just for the fact that I just didn't like to drive race cars. I liked the fans. I didn't really like working on the cars, but I did. The traveling, I didn't mind. But everybody said, well, how many autographs did you sign? I have to sign. I said I didn't have to sign any. I wanted to. And like I said, they think that I'm here for them, but they're really here for me because they haven't forgot me yet.